I'm going to go through solving quadratic equations with a quadratic formula. I'm going to fill out a flow chart. And the first step would be to plug in your A, B, and C values into the quadratic formula. And remember the quadratic formula. Is negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, that's the first step. And that would be the same step for all of these problems. Okay, the second step. On your calculator, figure out what is inside the square root. That's when you plug everything in, being really careful with your signs, and trying to figure out what number we're going to write inside the square root. And then also you want to figure out the denominator. That would be the 2a part. Okay, that would be step 2. Okay, step 3, plug those values into the equation, or into the formula. So instead of writing that long square root number, you're just going to write the square root of whatever you got on the calculator. Step 4, on the calculator, find the square root. So whatever's inside the square root, you want to find that. Now, you're going to have one of 3 different things that are going to happen. When you plug in that square root number, you might get a whole number. If that's the case, okay, if your square root number is a whole number, you're going to plug in that number for the square root. I'm going to split it into 2 fractions. Then you can use the green y equals button on the calculator to solve. So those are the steps if you get a square root as a whole number. Now sometimes you might get a square root that is a decimal. So if your square root is a decimal, you want to take out your perfect squares. And you want to divide the square root number. By the perfect squares. You're looking for the largest one that divides into it evenly. Then you're going to rewrite square root as multiplication. So you're going to rewrite it as a multiplication of that perfect square. and then simplify radical. The last step, divide numerator and denominator by the greatest common factor, which is usually 2. Okay, and the last option is you might get a square root that is negative. Okay, so if you get a square root that's negative, rewrite the square root as the square root of -1 times the square root of that number, but positive. So you're going to make it positive. And you replace the square root of -1 with the imaginary unit I. Simplify your radical. And then divide the numerator and denominator by the greatest common factor, which is usually 2. And then you're done. Okay, when you're done with this flowchart, I want you to go up in the upper right-hand corner of your paper, and if you can write up there your favorite number, whatever your favorite number is, in the upper right-hand corner of this page, and then turn in your flowchart to me. That would be wonderful. Thank you.